Well, today I'd like to show you my lightweight hammock setup. Check it out. Mosquitoes. Now, most hammock setups are going to be heavier than tent setups, typically. But if you're super selective about the gear that you select for your hammock system, you can come out pretty close to a very lightweight tent setup, or you can even be lighter. Now, my lightest weight hammock setup is about 13 ounces or so heavier than my duplex from Z-Packs in that whole tent setup. But that's mostly because the underquilt that I have with that hammock setup is a synthetic 20-degree underquilt that weighs pretty heavy. So if I went out on the market, and I just did the other day, if I got like a 40-degree down underquilt with that hammock system, I'd actually end up being about 4 ounces less than my duplex Z-Pack setup. So it can be done. But like I mentioned in a previous video, for me, it's not all about the weight. The weight helps. You want to stay light. But to me, it's about the comfort. So what I'm going to show you today is a system that I have that is not my lightest weight hammock setup, but it's not my heaviest weight hammock setup. It's kind of in this sweet spot in the middle. And although it's 13 ounces heavier, it's way more comfortable than my Z-Pack tent. Any tent, for that matter. My opinion. Now here's the components. I have a War Bonnet Ridge Runner bridge hammock with carbon fiber spreader bars. Now I've special ordered these through a place called Ruda Lucora, and I'll put the link down below. I also have a Beckett hitch kit tree straps with this thing. Now I got these off of eBay from a shop named Myers Tech Hammock Lab. I also have this War Bonnet Lynx 10-degree underquilt. Now, do you need a 10-degree in the summertime? Usually not, but I'm up here at elevation, and a 10-degree really takes the edge off on those really cold nights that maybe you weren't expecting it to get so cold. I don't mind being a little bit warmer. I also have an underquilt protector on this thing. Now what that does, and I've explained this in other videos before, when the wind comes, it'll blow out all of your heat. So that helps keep your heat in. Plus, I like protecting my gear, and this helps my gear last a little bit longer. Now, the tarp I have with this is a Dutchware Dyneema 11-foot tarp. Now, this is what they call their winter tarp because it has full doors on both ends. I don't really need that in the summertime, but it helps when you have like a lot of rain. But it also helps that I can use this in more seasons than just summer. There's also a snake on this, and that's a little wrapper that you have on the outside of this thing, so it helps you organize and pack up your tarp a little bit better. Now the weight on this setup is 24 ounces more than heavier than my Z-Packs duplex tent setup, and it's 12 ounces heavier than my full War Bonnet system that I have with my Mountain Fly tarp and all that. You've seen those on other videos. This is about 12 ounces lighter than that. And it's 12 ounces lighter only really because that this Dyneema tarp here is about 7 ounces lighter than the Mountain Fly tarp. The Mountain Fly tarp also comes with the center pole, and that weighs about 5 ounces. And so altogether, about 12 ounces. So that's really the only difference. So altogether, this setup here is 78 ounces, which is 4.9 pounds. Not terrible, not ultralight, but did I say it's way comfortable? It's way comfortable. Now I also have a few modifications that I've done to this thing, and let me show you what I've done here. The first mod has helped me deal with the spreader bars. Spreader bars have that little metal piece that sticks out, and if you're not careful, you can very easily rip your tarp. I've done it before. So I come up with this little mod that protects my quilt by covering that little metal end, and it's just a simple Velcro. It's a wider Velcro strap that I put a narrow Velcro strap on. So I just wrap the wider one around. Then I use the more narrow ones to hold it all together. It works out really well, and it keeps me from wrecking my tarp. I also have these bug net cords that sometimes you folks will stretch those out all the way to the tree where you have it, where you have the rest of your tarp and hammock attached to. Now you can do that. Now I prefer this little ridgeline thing that I have. It's really a bowl-in setup with a taunt hitch, and you can move it back and forth, no problem. It hooks up real easy. You don't have to get outside of your tarp to disconnect your bug netting. And then the third mod is these pull-out poles. I think they're easier to set up than what the manufacturer recommends. The manufacturer would have you connect up those two tile points off to some cords with maybe your trekking pole way on the side. You have to cord those up and you have to stake them down. Now when you have really high winds, that's probably a little bit better. This holds up pretty good in the wind. It's been in some pretty windy situations. But if I was in, a crazy windy place, I would probably cord those up and stake them down.
Now I took a few minutes to try this out at home. And this is a much tighter tarp. So this will do much better in the wind. I might try this on my next trip, because it's supposed to get windy.
Okay, folks, so that's my setup. I'll be taking this with me on a few hikes this summer. And I got some news about that coming up here in a video really shortly. There's been a change of plans. But it's still pretty awesome. And I get to take this because it's way, way more comfortable. Okay, so you know what to do. If you like these kind of videos and the stuff that I do here on this channel, I'm David on Earth. I do hiking and backpacking and do gear reviews and stuff like this where I show you the kind of setups that I have. If you enjoy that kind of stuff, go ahead and subscribe because, we're probably related somehow. Press the like button, comment down below. I really like comments about what your setups are for your backpacking trips. All right, so I'll see you on the trail.